everyone. Can you all hear me okay? All right. I'm super excited to be here and really happy that we're together for the first photo ops, but also back together again in person for since a long time ago. I'm Ali McLeod, and if we haven't had the opportunity to meet before, I'll give you a little background on me. I've been in the photo industry for over 15 years, doing everything from commercial assisting, shooting, production, retouching, to running digital and creative operations teams for luxury retailers. And as Claire mentioned, I'm with Saks currently, where I've actually been for the majority of the past 12 years. A little bit about Saks before we dive in. Saks is a premier luxury e-commerce platform driven by a mission to help our customers express themselves through relevant and inspiring style. Through our website and our app, Saks offers a highly personalized experience and an expertly curated assortment of fashion, as well as professional stylists and fresh editorial content. The company is redefining luxury shopping with a digital-first model and a seamless connection to our extraordinary network of stores. Shameless plugs, go check out our socials and make sure you give us a follow. We all run into situations where our business and creative objectives can compete. Today I'm going to use an example that our team actually had to tackle recently. So this is by no means a real playbook or telling you how to do it, but merely an opportunity for us to share with you our approach so that you can try and tailor and use some of the similar tactics when you face your own challenges or projects. We're going to talk today a little bit about identifying and outlining your problem statement, collaborating with key stakeholders, approaches to frameworks and recommendations, presenting to leadership, implementing new strategies, and monitoring success. As you can imagine, being in the luxury space, quality is king, and it means our customers expect the most quality customer experience and product. But we know in our field that cost and efficiency are what creates successful business operations, but it doesn't always meet our brand needs or our customers' expectations. Alternatively, we often face situations where we have to sacrifice quality in order to drive sales or support business strategies. We're now in a space where we don't only have to solve to make compromises, but we have to create strategies to get all three. Saks is working toward becoming a preeminent luxury e-commerce platform. A key component of this is a rapidly expanding merchandise assortment. It focuses on fashion, but also includes categories that are complementary to the luxury customer's lifestyle. This evolution is really exciting for us, but can definitely present some interesting challenges for us to solve. As you can see, we've gone from 15% of our total product count being vendor-provided imagery in 2019, jumping to 45% in 2022. This increase can be attributed to a few different factors, mainly lack of sample availability, mostly driven by COVID. We're also working with smaller vendors now with the new assortments that can't provide samples or images to our standards. With assortments expanding and entering product categories that are more challenging to get samples, think things like sports, wellness, pets, home, and gift. And we collaborate with designers to launch exclusive collections, which are planned far in advance of our normal workflow. So if we don't have a product to shoot or an image to our standard, we can't launch or feature that item. The impact that this increase has had on our team has been really chaotic. In the last year, we identified that our workflow for VPIs worked pretty well when the penetration was low. But with this jump in volume, we quickly realized we had to take a step back and reassess how we're working. Not only this, but we received a lot of feedback and comments around the image quality from our partnering teams, requesting several reshoots and image replacements. Almost 50% of the reshoots that we do are actually caused by images not being to our in-house standards. So we began by outlining all the issues and came up with 3 key goals for this project. The primary goal was to streamline the process and lighten the load on the team, which actually in turn also lowers costs because the more you touch a product, the more it's going to cost you. The secondary goals were to find the balance between supporting the business, but also ensuring that our customers and our internal partners were really happy with the creative quality and execution. We have to instill confidence in our customers to purchase with us, so we need to make sure we're giving them enough information from the imagery for them to transact. Once we figured out what we needed to accomplish and had a sense of our general approach, I met with our senior leadership team to just give them some insight and provide them with the proposed solution to our challenge. When you're meeting with CFOs or CEOs or chief merchants, it's really important that you play the role as expert in this. They don't want granular level information at this point. They want to understand your high level challenge and trust that you can take away the solution once you get some alignment from them on the priorities and the approach. When you have competing creative and business objectives, it's also important to gain stakeholder information. Educating your partners and giving recommendations is really important, but if you don't gain alignment from them, you might as well throw all that work that you do away. For example, a buyer knows their business inside out far better than me, and just because I've identified a brand as a top performing one doesn't mean that they wouldn't prioritize one over another, for reasons that I'm not aware of. Everyone's going to have a conflicting opinion, and everyone's going to have conflicting priorities. So it's your job to find the balance, and for the majority or all of the process, knowing that you have the expanded knowledge. So how did we approach it? We started with aligning on our visual standards. So what's acceptable, what's not. We already had a really robust standards doc that we would send to our vendors, but it was really common that nobody can really provide everything that we ask for. In the wake of COVID, it became increasingly difficult for us to meet our consistency on site. It led to a lot of reshoots and a lot of complaints from internal partners. So by reassessing our standards, we were able to reject less and get more items on site faster. It also became important for us to understand what's the value in our in-house views. If a customer can't tell the size of a piece of jewelry, they might not purchase it. This is where partnering teams can give you information or data on longevity or performance of products. For example, not all jewelry items are created equal. A jewelry piece that's fashion that's $75 and sells out within one season might not need the same white glove treatment as a $10,000 piece of fine jewelry. We also use things like leveraging heat mapping and customer feedback to understand what was valuable to them. No surprise, the majority of traffic on our site interacts with the images most on the PDPs. Understanding what else is important. Is it things like site consistency for your array? Is that important to your customer or just to your brand? Does it apply to every category? This is, again, where looking at data and asking stakeholders is really important. We also work to create a reshoot framework. So what will we reshoot, what won't we? Again, this is where we use data. We looked at the top performing 50 brands and made recommendations to our merchant partners from those areas. Gaining their alignment was also key in being able to create these workflow updates. From there, we reviewed all our recommendations with the teams, and then we began to negotiate about where the buyers felt strongly. So think about that fine versus fashion jewelry example. We also worked to create an exceptions process so that if for some reason we have to step outside of the guidelines, it makes decision-making cut and dry. And you can think about things like leveraging predetermined parameters, something like inventory levels, demand, longevity, really what's important to your business. And then we had to figure out how to fund it. It's really important that you understand the scope of your recommendation, because you can imagine that you can shoot top 50 brands, but you may only be able to budget for 25. And if you don't account for that in your annual OpEx or payroll, you're going to have something else that you need to explain to your CFO. When you're getting leadership approval on cost, it's good practice to outline a good, better, best approach to give them some options. Because sometimes the price tag actually changes the opinion of the priority as soon as they see it. So again, you may go into it thinking you're going to do a certain number of brands, but only be able to do some. And then we wanted to look at re-engineering the process end to end. We took a look at the teams involved in our current process and reassessed roles and responsibilities as a first step. Remember, when this was just a handful of products and low penetration, tasks like naming files or approving imagery didn't take too long. But as we saw the increase in volume, we really saw the time suck that our partnering teams were enduring. It's also on tasks that weren't really suited to their skill sets, and their value would be better elsewhere if their time was focused on other tasks. We reviewed the physical workflow steps and looked to gain efficiencies and automate where we thought it was viable. For example, by changing the order of the tasks and which team members did it, we were able to cut down on the back and forth communication required for the approval or rejection of imagery, which again creates a faster time to site. We found areas that we could automate by creating bots to handle things like bulk processing. Again, cutting down on time spent, faster time to site, and that means more selling time. So how do we measure success? After rollout, it's important to monitor, track, and apply data. Is what you thought would bring value truly performing as expected? Have unexpected reshoots reduced? Have customer comments about imagery gone down? Have you gained bandwidth capacity and increased your time or decreased your time to site? These and many other ways allow you to create measurable KPIs for your projects. And you might not even know what your target KPIs are going into a new challenge, and that's okay. Because as you go and you learn more, you can begin tracking it and then leverage that historical data to define what your measurements for success are moving forward. If you're not seeing signs of improvement, why not? What's happening, and do you need to pivot? I think flexibility and iteration is key in the ever-evolving need to support our business partners and our customers. And at this point, it's really good practice to update your partners that helped you on this journey so far. Being transparent with them and giving them understanding of high-level execution helps build trust with partnering teams. It also gives them an opportunity to provide you feedback and help you fine-tune any loose ends. And finally, it gives the leaders a chance to see how your teams are directly impacting and contributing to overall company objectives. And we all know that good PR is great for your teams. So next time you're faced with some conflicting objectives or have processes that are outdated and no longer serve your business or your teams, you can try and apply some of these tactics to help improve. By clearly understanding your challenge, it will help you come to your solution. Create targets and goals to accomplish throughout your project. Outline potential approaches. It's okay if they change, they probably will as you go. Review the end-to-end process. Roles, responsibilities, tasks, are they still effective? If not, why not? Create recommendations so that you can gain alignment from your key partners. Monitor your success and pivot as necessary. And don't forget to get your team the kudos. Thank you.